I'm going to quote Eddie Hearn here, and he's talking in relation to Anthony Joshua's next fight against Kubrat Pulev. We're assuming that's going to be his next fight, not the undisputed fight. So Hearn said, quote, "It's the fight that I see happening. You know, we're all working together for other alternatives. We got approached from an amphitheater / coliseum in Croatia last week, and some guys who wanted to bring the fight out there. The Middle East have shown interest in that fight as well. We really wanted to do the fight in the UK, but it's virtually impossible to do it. And to be honest, Chris, I don't really want to do an AJ fight behind closed doors. I just don't think, you know, his whole career, his whole brand, has been built on the fact that he is a huge draw. Tens of thousands of people, fireworks and Sweet Caroline and screaming fans. To go and do it in a dark studio, an empty hall, just wouldn't feel right. So AJ's a little bit different, you know, in that there's going to be plenty of approaches, and there has been already about staging that fight outside the UK. So I see AJ fighting anywhere between September and November, to be honest with you." And he goes on to say, Wilder and Fury have the same problem, referring to their third fight. He says, they're going to want to generate a $10 to $15 million gate, so they may look internationally for that fight as well. And obviously the winners of those fights must fight each other, unquote. So it's looking at the moment, and obviously things can change, but it's looking at the moment as though AJ will not be returning to the UK to fight Kubrat Pulev as they initially intended at White Hart Lane Stadium. Instead, it's going to go overseas. It could go to Croatia. It could go to the Middle East, maybe some other location. Disappointing for British boxing, I would say, particularly at a time like this when most gyms are closed, unless you are a fighter like AJ, who has access to your own gym or whatever the case may be, or Dylan White, one of the pay-per-view fighters. It's going to be difficult for most boxers, amateur and pro, to actually train. Very difficult. And therefore, British boxing, let's say, needs a boost of having something like an Anthony Joshua fight take place on British soil. It needs that boost now more so than ever. Without that boost, and with the current situation going on right now of all the gyms being closed, it is going to have a massive detrimental impact on boxing, sadly, and on many other industries, of course. But the fight between AJ and Pulev happening abroad, will that affect AJ's performance? I think it inevitably will, because not only will he not be on home soil, but how many fans will be able to travel out there to watch AJ elsewhere? Maybe there'll, be very little travel restrictions and it'll be easy to go wherever you want to go. But then again, maybe not. So perhaps AJ won't have the same level of support if they were to fight in Croatia or, somewhere else. Maybe Kubrat Pulev will end up with more support than AJ. And how will that affect AJ? AJ's never fought in front of a partisan crowd before, where he's being booed, and certainly not as a professional. As an amateur he did, but as a professional he's never had to go through that. And you don't know how that might affect him. So obviously he's a fighter at the end of the day, and he's battled through adversity and come back from his defeat as a pro, come back from defeats as an amateur. So he's a mentally strong guy, but still, different experiences can sometimes affect you in different ways. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the prospect of Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev happening overseas in Eastern Europe, Croatia, the Middle East, so on and so forth. Are you that bothered about this, or are you like me, somebody who would have really liked to see a homecoming for AJ in the UK? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and how will this affect AJ, if at all? Maybe it doesn't matter where he fights Kubrat Pulev. Perhaps you think the result is going to be the same regardless. And not just the result, but the way he performs. Because I'm thinking that if it was in the UK at White Hart Lane, we might see a more aggressive performance from AJ, maybe a bit cagey early on, but once he realizes that Pulev is very awkward and technical at long range, he'd have to put it on Pulev, maybe break him down the stretch and take him out late. That's the kind of fight I see in my head. Overseas, what's AJ going to be like? Is he going to be more aggressive early, less aggressive? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about all that in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.